Turn it up a little bit.
Mine's over there.
Mic check, 1, 2. Mic check. Yo, it's Harlem on the rise, yo, we love to get the money. This a podcast, you can catch us being funny. Yeah, from 7 to 9, we litty and live. So stop everything, this is serious vibe. Catch us on a Wednesday, steady on a hump day. Listen in your car, got the Beamer or the Hyundai. Facebook Live, we live on the rec. You can call a kicker with us if you show respect. Yo, a lot of topics, we always got a profit. You know we neighborhood, we always kicking knowledge. Yeah, that's the CeeLo, we do it for the people. Tiger than the ego, we ordinary people. We be kicking it, cause you know we living it. Come and catch a vibe, it's a vibe, come and witness it. We down for each other, no matter the weather. It's the beat 139, cause Harlem stick together, what's up?
Yeah. Thanks, Lane Lane and 10 Stacks for the song. Welcome to the Beat 139. I'm Doc.
I'm Don Vito. What's happening?
Welcome, everyone, and I'm Callie.
Okay, we want to welcome our first guest for the night. We're excited about having this brother tonight. Please welcome the founder of Us Entertainment, independent hip-hop criminal justice reform activist, a.k.a. the General, Mysonne. What up? Welcome to the show, bro.
Welcome.
Thanks for having me,
Welcome to the show. So we know you grew up in the Bronx. Are you still living in the BX, my bro?
I mean, in between BX.
Okay.
3 or 4 different places, but my foundation, I'm in the Bronx every day, so.
Exactly.
I'm outside.
So everybody want to know, is your real name Mase? Is your birth name Mysonne?
Born and raised. That was my mama named me that.
Okay. So how do you get your name? How you get the name in general?
That was a name that was given to me, just from playing basketball, just having leadership qualities, and always being strong-willed. I think a lot of my teammates used to call me a general. I was a point guard, so it was just like a nickname that carried with me throughout life.
Mm-hmm. What old you was when you started rapping?
Oh, man. I want to say I was in my teens. I was like 13, 14, but I never used to let nobody hear me rap. R.I.P. to my man, June Brown. He was like my influence. And he was like the dopest rapper I ever heard. And he used to live right underneath me. So he was older than me, probably like 5, 6 years older than me. But he always used to let me hear his rhymes. Mm-hmm. So he had books of rhymes, and he'd be like, yo, come to my house. And we'd just sit in the house, and he'd just be rhyming to me. And I'd just be mesmerized, like, yo, he's so dope. Mm-hmm. So he inspired me to write, and I'd just write my little rhymes, and I never used to tell nobody. Yeah. Once in a while, I let him hear. He'd be like, yo, you kind of good. And then from there, I just kept on going. And then I remember me and my friend, Lacey lived right down the block from me. He used to rap. So he was one of the first people I let hear me rap, like early high school, like 9th, 10th grade. Right. And then I used to keep it under wraps. And then to one day, one of my OGs, I that used to be with Original Flavor. He was like one of the nicest dudes I heard rap too. We was just in the park in the Bronx, and he was just spitting. He's like, yo, everybody say something. So I just started rhyming. He just was like, yo, you really nice. He started, yo, say that rhyme you said to me. And then he put me on the spot, and then we formed like a little group. So it was just ever since then.
Mm-hmm. So we also know that you lost your father at the age of 11.
Yes.
How did you find your direction after that? Like, how was that?
My father instilled a lot of morals, values, and principles in me from a young age. He was a very strong dude. He was from the streets, but he was always morally sound. Mm-hmm. Despite him being into drugs and been on drugs, he was just always morally sound. You know what I'm saying? He was from that era, and he had been involved in the streets his whole life, but it was always a foundation about just being right, and just so being. And always said, when you got to take care of your mother. Like, you the man of the house. Mm-hmm. Whenever I'm not here, you the man of the house. So when he died, actually on my couch in my house.
Oh wow, that was hard.
Him. Yeah, it was hard. Finding him the day after his birthday on the couch, because we was at my grandmother's house, and we went. And it's crazy because the night before that, 2 nights before we found him, I had spoke to him. He was like, I'm going to take you shopping. I'm going to go buy you some sneakers, whatever. I'm like, all right, Dad, thanks. Because him and my mother wasn't together, right? So he was in the house, and we were staying at my grandmother's house. And he was like, I'm going to take you to buy some sneakers tomorrow. So I called him the next day, and he didn't answer the phone. Like, that's not like my father. Like, he told me he's going to do something. If he said he was going to do it, he's going to do it. If he wasn't going to do it, he would have been like, nah, I can't do it.
Right.
So, I kept calling all night. He didn't answer the phone. And then I was like, something's wrong with my dad. Yeah. I remember just busting out crying in my grandmother's living room, telling my mother, like, something's wrong with my dad. He's not answering the phone. He's supposed to buy me some sneakers, and he didn't even answer the phone. There's something wrong. And I had a feeling like it was really something wrong. I was just crying and crying. And then I was like, all right, well, I'm going to go check on him tomorrow.
Well, it's crazy. To touch on that, my 9-year-old son here in the other room right there, right? I was just talking to him about that. Like, I know he be on me. I know he feel I'm on him because I'm always like dropping jewels, different things. And it's crazy you said, I wish you would have came in here. Listen, you said you was 11 years old. You remember that as 11,
Yeah.
it stored in you. And I be trying to do it because you never know when your last day. And it's funny you said that because something happened to me. I had like some little bull crap, something real quick. But anyway, he said something ain't right because he know I normally be there for him. You know what I'm saying? It was a call. But it's important that, you know what I'm saying, us fathers, our word is bond. He said he's going to get you sneakers, and you knew right there something was wrong.
Yeah, he didn't even call. He didn't just call about, I can or I'm not. He just didn't even call or didn't answer no calls. And I was like, nah, that's not how my father does. He's never done that to me. So, that was a clip for me. And then the crazy part was I went to school that day feeling like, and I was talking to my best friend. And I was like, I think my father might die. I might have been dead, might have died today. And I just kept looking at the door waiting for my mother to come. Like, it was the weirdest thing in the world. And I never forget that. I was just looking at the door. We was on, like, having, like, a recess during class, and I was just kept looking at the door. And when she came to the door, I already knew what she was coming to tell me.
Wow.
It was crazy.
So then you found basketball. You played basketball in the Rucker Park and stuff like that.
Yeah, I played ball. I played for Martin Luther King. I used to play basketball for Martin Luther King. Yeah. I played a lot of different tournaments. I was kind of nice.
They say you was mentored by NBA legends such as Allen Iverson, Stephon Marbury, Ray Falk.
I played with all of them. Yeah. Sham was like one of my best friends, and he taught me the crossover. So that was one of my favorite moves. We used to practice. I used to go to Gauchos and just watch him do that and be like, this thing is retarded. The ball barely hit the ground. So, so that was one of my favorite players growing up, and he was also a good friend of mine.
It's crazy because the first time I met you years back, me and Big L grew up together. We're from the same block.
My God.
And I remember you used to come through right before your situation. You was about to be signed. I think matter of fact, you were signed. I
was about to get signed right when L passed away. I didn't get signed until L. I got signed late '99, and I remember I was about to get signed.
But I met you before that, because you was around them before that, Showbiz. This was
that was like 95 or something. That was like 96, 97.
Yeah, I remember, because he's like, he's always say, L love nice MCs. I tell people that all the time. If you can rap, he love you. If you garbage, he don't got nothing for you. So I remember, I used to always see like you, Wally World, Showbiz AG, Fat Joe. They was like the Bronx crew. People used to be teasing him, oh, you a Bronx dude. Because he's always
be up there with showing
yeah.
We used to have him in the Bronx. I remember it was a Primo talk about it all the
Primo,
time.
yeah.
He always bring it up. Like, we was in the cypher in the Bronx, and it was me, him. It was God Bless the Dead, my nigga Party Artie.
Yeah.
It was Showbiz. It was AG. Fat Joe and them was out there. It was who else? It was a bunch of us. We just had a big cypher, and Primo was like, "Yo, that cypher was crazy. I wish we would have just videotaped that." Like, it was classic. It was right. It was like right before L passed, like right before too.
So when you was playing basketball, were you rapping at the same time too, or was that something that you picked up afterwards?
I mean, I was rapping before, but I just nobody knew I was rapping.
Right.
I remember my man Doc. Doc is from Harlem too, and him and Mase was cool. So that's when, before Mase got signed, I used to go to Martin Luther King. So Mase used to go to Brandeis. And when we played against Brandeis, after the game, Doc was like, yo, let's spit. And Doc was one of the only people I used to let hear me rhyme. So Doc used to be like, yo, spit that rhyme you said for me. And I used to be kind of shy. He would, come on, spit it. Then Mase would spit. That's the first time I met Mase. We was in King gym, and we was just going back and forth spitting. And that was like one of the first. But I told you, I was like, I never wanted to let people hear me wrong, because I used to be like, I think I'm good, but I don't know if I'm that good. Because I always thought, I would hear them and be like, I don't know if I'm that good. And then people like, nah, you crazy, you nice. So then I started building my confidence up.
So you went to college for a little while?
I used to go to John
justice?
Jay. Yeah, I went to John Jay for a year.
And you studied criminal justice and stuff like that.
Yeah.
That's where you got a lot of your knowledge and stuff like that. Your stuff you.
I was always
about,
smart, I believe.
Right.
You know, I was always I always wanted to know stuff. Like when I was growing up, being dumb wasn't cool. You know what I'm saying? Like they celebrate dumb shit. Like, oh, you dumb, you cool. Like, nah, I never wanted to be dumb. I wanted to be whatever I was. Real to me was being smart, being thorough, not being soft. All of those things was things that came hand in hand with me. So you know, a lot of times I did though. I was in like a lot of top classes, and a lot of my friends wasn't. So I would be like, they were like, oh, you like a nerd, because I was having 90 average, but you know, I was still a thorough dude in the street. I'm not gonna be stupid. The fuck I'm gonna be stupid for? Because no, I'm not doing that.
They
So,
stupid.
yeah, like I'm not doing that. You know what I'm saying? So that was always something I prided myself on, being, you know, being a thinker and wanting to learn. You know?
It's crazy.
All right. So let's move up a little bit. So down the line, after you related to a lot of dudes in the rap game that's doing their thing from the street to the industry and stuff like that. You know, you had a little touch with going to prison and stuff like that. Right? How did that happen?
I blew trial for 2 armed robbery cases on cab drivers that I never even met. You know, it was one of them was a situation that transpired over a disagreement, and people ended up getting involved. Some shit I never even did. I never robbed a man, never took nothing from him. He identified me as somebody who robbed him. Somebody actually punched him in his face, but he never got robbed. The other person, nobody ever seen in their life. You know, so it was just, it was really just, it was crazy. It was kind of weird the way it happened. You know, first case happened in 1997 that I caught. And, you know, I'm like, I don't even know that this is some bullshit they made. They put me through a lineup. You know, I'm like, I don't even know him. But you young, you dumb, you don't know the system. You just like, they gonna throw that shit away. A lot of, you know, we young, we like 17. They're like, oh, that's gonna get dismissed. Don't worry about it. They gonna drop that. They ain't got that. They just got all that shit is nothing.
Get the legal aid.
Yeah, you got the legal aid. So don't worry about it. You know, most of the time they don't come to court.
Yeah, gas you up.
You be like, okay. A year later, they still going back and forth. They postpone in 3 and 4 months. You think something good. You like, okay, yeah.
You was on bail though, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're like, nah, they postponed it. You good.
But
So-
what made you still go in that direction, being that, you know, you had the basketball going on, you had your music, you had so much going on. What made you choose to get into that type of life?
I mean, I was in the streets. I was hustling, I was doing the average shit that the average person would do in the street, but I wasn't into that. I wasn't just doing dumb shit.
Right.
So what I got locked up for was some shit that was totally not.
Just getting caught up,
You know
pretty
what I'm
much.
saying? Yeah, just pretty much being in the wrong place.
Well, I was
the
just about to say wrong place at the
You know,
wrong time.
and it was
right.
like, at that time, there was like this spree of cab driver robberies that they was going on. They were just trying to pin that on anybody that they could find. And I just somehow fit the description, and just being ignorant to the law, not really paying attention, you know, and, you know, just got caught up.
And back then, that was the thing. Everybody was touching them cab drivers.
Yeah, you know what I'm
but
saying?
but you know what sucks about that? Because they offered you 1 year, but you end up doing 7 years out of the 14 that they offered you in total. So that's kind of crazy. How did you end up doing 7 when they only offered you 1? Like,
Because the offer is
what-
for you to just cop out. You know what I'm saying? So when you innocent, you're like, I'm not copping out. You crazy?
Right.
If you got 2 armed robberies that's fucking, and you offer me to do 1 year, I know y'all don't got nothing. Like, what the fuck?
Right, yeah.
You know, so I didn't do
That's
nothing.
common
Like, you
sense,
can't, like, you offer me to do 1 year for this? No, I'm not taking nothing. I didn't do it. And the lawyer was like, all right, cool, whatever. You know what I'm saying? But all time, he ain't really doing shit. And I'm just thinking, innocent, you don't go to jail. Fuck, I'm sitting there doing jail. I'm about to get my record deal. I'm just signed this deal. This shit is good. I'm good. Like, I ain't.
yeah,
going-
why should I take
Why would
anything
I'm
when
not
I didn't
taking-
do it?
Hell, I'm not going to no jail for no year. For what? You know,
And they end up pinning both of the robberies on you, correct?
yeah, ended
Wow.
up blowing trial. They tried me at the same for both of the robberies at one trial. It was just like, and none of them had to do with each other. It was nothing. It was just two people, different people saying you did one thing. So to the jury, it looked like you had to do something. Both of these people ain't just making up a story.
So while you was in prison, right? Was you writing and stuff like that?
Every day.
Yeah. Working out, writing, and just preparing.
Because my motto was, listen, man, every day that you in prison and you don't learn or you don't grow, the system beats you. And I wasn't going to let the system beat me. If you don't learn something, you don't grow mentally, physically, emotionally. Like, if you're not strengthening yourself, that when you get back out to society, that you're able to contribute better than you was when you got there, then they beat you.
And that's important you did that because a lot of people feel like, man, I ain't do it and just be on some other shit.
Yeah.
Like, man, fuck
They
this.
be
I ain't
bitter
do it.
and- yeah.
And be on some, like you feel like, damn, my rap career's right here. 7 years. Like, man, they ain't looking that far.
Exactly.
Nigga, like, man, I'm going to do me and be in here doing whatever.
That's
For you
a
to
fact.
stay focused. Is
But I say this all the time, man. If I would have went to jail probably 2 years prior, that would have been my mentality. You know, by the grace of God, that whole year before I was in prison, right, even before I got signed, like from the whole 98, I was in the mix. Like I had a bidding war, I had Jermaine Dupri flying me to Atlanta, Diddy wanted to sign me, Rough Riders wanted to sign me, like, so, and I was moving around. That was like the first time I left the hood. And I started seeing life, and I'm like, damn, there's a lot of shit going on. I'm chilling with Allen Iverson, I'm here, we in the clubs, I'm like, I realized I had shit to live. I'm like, damn, it's way bigger than just the corner and high bridge. You know what I'm saying? The world is bigger. It's so much more shit to do. And then it changed my mind frame. So I was like, damn, I created something in a year. Like I'm not staying here.
Yeah.
Like this, like I didn't adapt to my surroundings. I made my surroundings adapt to me. I was like I'm just visiting here. I don't give a fuck how long I'm here. I know that I got a different purpose here. So I'm not getting caught up in the prison politics. I'm not trying to sell drugs in here. I'm not gambling with you niggas. So I got to stay here another 10 and 15 years for hurting somebody. Like I'm just not doing it.
Did the dudes that you was like in society that you was affiliated with, that were cool with you, support you while you was
Yeah,
going?
man, a lot of them did.
That's another thing that's big
Yeah,
too.
you know, I had a good
You know what I'm saying?
support
Give you
system.
that hope, let you know when you come home, champ, we got you. So while you're in there, you just preparing to come home, educating and
And that's
writing
what it
and
was,
getting ready.
man. I had a real strong
You know?
system. My man Tone was with me most of the time. A lot of my other friends was there. My mother was there. You know, my wife was there for the most part. I still had a son. My son was like 1 year old when I went to prison. So I had too much stuff to, you know. And fortunately, before I first went up north, I went to Sing Sing. I was in Sing Sing for the first 2 years. So I was getting visits regularly, pretty much like every other day, if not every day. So I was still in tune to the street. My mom was still like, nah, I'm not preparing just to be a jail nigga. Because that's, a lot of dudes get there. They're like, all right, I done blew trial, fuck that, let me lace my sneakers up, I'm going to get this ox, shorty, you going to bring in someone to visit, I'm going to the yard, listen, this is how it's going to go. Like, that wasn't my mind frame. You know what I'm saying? So, but I'm saying if 2 years prior this would have happened, that would have been my mind frame.
Right,
because I'd have been like, I ain't got nothing going on. All I know is my drug street, like I got to make that here. You know what I'm saying? So, by the grace of God, that wasn't my reality.
That's good. Like 7 years, you feel like, man, I still gonna have a career when I get out.
I'm just gonna have a life, whether I have it, because people like, yo, you gonna go? I'm like, I don't know. I don't know what's gonna happen. 7 years, life change.
Yeah, change.
You know what I'm saying? How many artists you seen still relevant after 7 years? That shit is not, you know. And I never even dropped the album. I didn't do this, so it was like, it was a double-edged sword. It was like, you can be a new artist. You know what I'm saying? You got to, because you never really dropped nothing. But if you would have dropped something, then it would have had people preparing for you to come on, because they're like, yo, this first album was dope. I never released my first album. You know, Def Jam still got the rights to that, and it never was released. So they didn't even give me an opportunity. It was like, I could have, if they would have just gave me an opportunity, like, yo, we're going to give you a month and you got to turn yourself in, I could have shot videos. I could have They didn't give me nothing, none of that. They just, straight from trial, boom, you going in. So,
that's crazy.
You know what I'm saying? So it was hard, but, you know, I just had to figure it out.
Yeah, you have a caller. Hold on, you have a caller, I think from Idaho. Caller, you here with Mysonne?
Yeah, I'm going to ask my son if he's familiar with Hassan Campbell.
Of course I am.
Yeah, what's up with the beef? Did y'all squash the beef? He said you called him.
Yeah, we didn't. It wasn't no beef, man. Like, listen, a lot of times it just be misguided energy. You know what I'm saying? And I don't do the internet back and forth. I'm not gonna do that. You know, I met the brother one time. He explained to me a situation with Bambaataa, and I personally was like, damn, that's messed up. You know what I'm saying? When we had this conversation, but I'm not gonna lend my voice to something I can't personally vouch for. And I met that man one time. And for some reason, he was, he wanted me to lend my voice to that and say, yo, you need to be calling Bambaataa. And I'm like, nah, that's not what I'm going to do. Because if somebody came out against me that didn't have any evidence based on something that one person that they never met, I wouldn't think that's real. That's not who I am. So I'm not telling you that you shouldn't find your own recourse in that and go about it, but that's not something I'm going to do. When people ask me, I said, yeah, I met the brother. He seems sincere, but I don't know. So he had his own personal tirade, and people he getting on his YouTube. He needs people to hit. No disrespect to him. We had I wasn't gonna do the back and forth on internet, so I hit him in the DM like, call me, let's have a conversation, because I seen he knew a few people that I knew, like real close friends of mine. So I was like, I don't want this to escalate out, because these is my boys, and you seem like you know them. I don't want this to turn, because if I see right now in my mind frame, if I see you somewhere, this is gonna be different, and I don't want to do that. So let me reach out to you and have a real conversation with you, like, man. And that's what happened.
He apologized the other day. He said he jumped the gun because he said he respect you and he loved your movement you was doing. So he jumped the gun. He thought that you can really help him. But like you said, you don't got enough evidence.
Yeah,
when you don't have enough evidence, you cannot do
listen
that.
To me,
I think he understood that.
Yeah, you lose your value when you talk about stuff that you don't even know.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And I'm saying, oh, he did. I'm not going to call nobody a pedophile and a rapist that I can't personally vouch for. Like, that's the worst crime in the world to me. Mm-hmm. So for you to be able to call you that, I got to know that happened. Not somebody that I met yesterday, whether you even sound sincere or not. If somebody asks him and say, yeah, that's what the brother said to me, I don't know. He seems sincere, but I can't tell you yes or no.
There you go. Yeah, we got another caller from Philly. State your name. You here with Mysonne?
What's going on, Mysonne? This is ZX1400, man.
What's going on, beloved?
What's going on, Doc? Hey, man, listen. The first time I got turned on to you was on the Bull show, where you did the freestyle. Okay. And I'm like, you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
I mean, and it was fire. I was like, wow, haven't heard nobody like that, like since early, like young Hold. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was really popping. And I just want to know why you ain't take that rap, that show that you did on this show, and put some music behind it and put it out there, because I get tired of watching the video. It's like the hottest thing I've heard in a long time. I just need some music with it and cut some people out of it, and I'll buy that.
I think it was, to me, it was what it was. You know what I'm saying? I didn't want to, like, when you make something that's historical like that transcends past what you even thought it was going to be, you just got to let that live for what it is. I didn't want to say, oh, all right, people like this, let me take this and make it into more and try to dilute it, because it was raw, it was for that. You know what I'm saying? And it's still getting that same love from around the world. Every time somebody hears it gets that same effect. So me personally, I just was like, that was what it was for. It's like when you hear the Locks and them rhyming on Hot 97, and they try to take the rhyme and put it on the song now. It ain't the same. It was you wanted that tape. It was that mixtape night that you remembered. You know what I'm saying? So I didn't want to do that. I didn't want to dilute it for me. Maybe it's something I should have, but I never thought about it. I thought it was what it was. It was for that.
Nah, that was classics. That was a classic right there. That's the type of thing you want to put in the, you want to play it on your Bluetooth. You know what I'm saying? You want to play that. That's like a classic, man. That was pure. It was pure, raw. I would just love to purchase that. That's just me, though. But let me give you this, and I'm gonna let you go. The remix with OJ.
Uh-huh.
I like the way I like the way you flipped that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You did your thing. You put your own twist to it. You kept it kind of in the same twist, but you gave it a little bit more a little bit more flavor, like something that I could relate to. You know what I'm saying? And so, yeah, shout out to you, man. Shout out to you. So, what type of projects you got on deck, man? I mean, what's going on with you? And I'm gonna hang up the phone and I'm gonna listen to you. And shout out to the smart guy. That's my young boy out there. Love him. Love you too. Y'all about my favorite artists out there. Word is bond.
Well, I appreciate it, man. The project is coming soon, though. It's called Life Teaches and Reality Bites. It should be out real soon. We're working on the distribution for it right now, so just stay tuned.
All right, caller, thanks for calling in. So moving forward, you know, it's a lot of community stuff that you're doing out there, man, outside of the basketball, outside of the rap game. You know, like, a lot of people, like, praising you out here as a younger brother, as an activist, man. You know, a lot of brothers are really looking up to you, man, and I know you hear about it, but your name is all over. You come from the Bronx, but all of New York, and even out of town, they're looking up to Mysonne because of the knowledge you be spitting. And like you said, you always wanted to be smart. You ain't want to be with the dudes that didn't want to be smart. Mm-hmm. So let's tell us a little bit about that, your work out there as an activist, moving around, spreading the word.
Well, that was just something that happened organically, man. I think my first interjection into activism was Trayvon Martin. I was shooting a web series that never actually came out. Before all the web series started, we were supposed to do one. It was called South Brooklyn, and we was in Florida, actually. We was shooting like a scene out there, like we was going to meet some drug dealers, a drug deal and whatever. And I'm in a hotel room, and they reading the verdict for, they reading the verdict for the time, for the, what's the guy's name that killed Trayvon Martin?
Zimmerman, George Zimmerman.
Exactly. So they reading the verdict. I'm in my hotel room. I'm getting dressed. We about to leave. And I'm like, oh, I know he's going to be found guilty of this. And so when they said he was innocent, it was like, it crushed me.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And I'm in Florida. That's where it happened. All this happened. I just was crying. I was like, I felt like I was 5 years old. I locked my door. I was in there crying. I was just like, I didn't even know what to say. My son was like 10 or 11 years old. And I was like, damn, this could have been my son.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, so the whole cast was like, damn, we was kind of sad. They was like, all right, come on, let's go hang out. We ended up going like to a strip club. But the whole time, my mom was just focused on this. And I wrote this piece called What Do I Say to My Sons? And it was basically like saying, like, what am I supposed to say to my son about this case? Like, that doesn't mean that his life doesn't even value, it doesn't have any value, it's not worth nothing. Like, they could just kill your kids and tell you
That's crazy, man.
that you the aggressor when a grown man stalks you. Like, how does this even make sense? Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So that was my first intersection into it. And I wrote that, and then I became just starting to get more conscious.
Can we hear a little piece of that right now? You don't mind? Can we hear a little?
I mean, it's a video. I don't even remember what I wrote. Like, it was just, like, if you go on YouTube, you can find it. Yeah. But, because the director who was shooting it was like, yo, we got to shoot the video for it. Right. Because I wrote it while we was just in the car, riding back from, because we had drove out
something off the top of your head.
Yeah, so I just was writing it down. And then he's like, yo, we got to shoot this video. So we shot the video literally the next day when we got back to New York. And then the next time it was Eric Garner, man. Eric Garner got choked. I was going to detention centers speaking to young kids and teaching them about alternatives to violence, how to use music as an alternative to violence, how to formulate music. And while we was inside the detention centers, the guards was like, yo, they just choked the guy, whatever. And I know that was the first march I ever went to. We had called for a big march in New York. It was like hundreds of thousands of people. And it was just like, I felt like this is where I need to be at. Like, I was surrounded by people that had the same energy, same mindset. And I was like, yo, this is something that I want to be involved in. Like, I love this energy.
And it's crazy not to cut you off, because someone said, like most like activists like yourself, Al Sharpton, like you only be there for the big names. And I said that's not true, because you said hit your heart. I remember I saw you at the I think her name Miss Aisha, I can't remember her name, I'm sorry, at 145th Street. when the lady got shot in the neck,
On 145.
and you was on a march with me, and it hit me so hard. People like, Doc, what the hell you doing? You on the march? Like, people think it was a joke.
No.
But I said it was serious. That could have been my mom. And I just left there. It was packed. A whole bunch of it was crazy out there that night. Soon when I left, I got in my car, drove like 4 blocks. I heard number shots, and then I found out this lady. She lived a couple blocks away. She lived in 42nd from 39th, and she got shot in the neck. So I told John Fresh, and I said, yo, we got to do something. And he said, I get with Lady Aisha. I say, cool, and this and that. And I saw you there. And we walked through the block, and it was crazy. And that's why I said it's not true. People think that you only march with the big names. Like you said, Trayvon, Eric Gardner. I'm like, nah, I saw son there on some, this lady was in a big name. She from the neighborhood. She had a shot in the neck. Young dude shooting across the street. Shooting wild, got hit in the neck, man. Yo, that hit me hard because her husband just left her, and they just shooting for no reason. How you try and kill somebody or shoot somebody across the street? And my family, all of them was out there. You know what I'm saying? So that hit me, and I saw you out there front line on that. So that's why I was like, sometimes people speak on stuff, don't know what they're talking about.
Listen, people just talk because they can at the end of the day. So you never gonna do anything positive and don't have negative critics that try to demean what you're doing. Exactly. If you don't got those people, then you really ain't doing nothing because they gonna always say something about you. No matter what you do, it's gonna be people that's not saying, "Oh, you doing this, but you ain't doing this." All right, so why don't you do that? You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? If you realize that need to be done, and I'm doing this, why don't you do that? And then we come together and we doing it all. But don't worry, don't tell me to do something that you're not doing. You know, that's what people do. He only march here, or he only gonna talk about that. He don't say, but why don't you? Okay, you know that, so why don't you do that part? You know, I don't know that much. I know this. I know how to do what I'm doing. So if you can bring what you got into something, then we really got a movement. But people just got something to talk about. And then you listen to me. Everybody on the internet is a specialist at everything. And they don't do nothing. I just be like, well, what are you doing? Like, most of the times I don't say it, but a lot of times I go back and forth and have conversations because I don't feel above that. I don't feel like I'm above criticism. Like if you say something legitimate that I think somebody else might wonder, I'm not gonna ignore you. And because I don't have no problem because I live in authenticity and truth. So I don't have no problem having a conversation back, even if it's discourse, even if it's something I don't agree with you. I have no issue with doing that. You know, because I know what I stand on truth every time.
And giving back is, I know how, like, we don't do the level you're doing, like, far as, like, the activist part, but far as giving back, to me, that's like, I done did everything it is in the streets, but it's nothing like when we start this podcast, it's nothing like now we go back, we giving shit back, doing the positive things. Like, more better than receiving money. We've done so much, not to get into everything we've done far as giving back. That's like the best feeling. So I know, so I could understand in a scale of what you're doing. I know it's love. It's not just because. I know it got to be some love because there's love for us.
It ain't nothing else out of it. Like I don't get money out of this. Like people be thinking, you don't get like, nobody pays me to do marches and protests. And sometimes I get up. We travel out of town. Like we're about to go to the young boy's funeral who got shot. Nobody's paying for us to go there. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, we've been calling, communicating with the families of the young girl who got fights, you know, that's supposed to got bullied. Like, we on the phone having conversations back and forth with these people. Nobody's paying us to do this. We just doing the right thing because it's supposed to be done. So a lot of time people get misconstrued about, like, it ain't, like, this is what we do because we want to do it, because we love this, you know, and we care for our people, and we want to see, you know, us being treated properly. And if we got a platform, we got to use it properly. That's my thing, is if I got a voice and I got a platform, then it got to be used properly for me.
Well, while we're on the subject of giving back, are you still mentoring for Gathering for Justice?
Yeah, I mean, that's shout out to Harry Belafonte, you know, one of my mentors.
He's one of the funders, correct?
He is the founder of the Gathering.
Perfect.
And he's one of my mentors. And I worked with the Gathering, Justice League, for the last 5 years. I'm about to start my own organization, along with my homegirl Tamika Mallory and Linda Sasso and Angelo Pinto. We started an organization called Until Freedom. You know, it's pretty much, we want it just to be more our culturally, but it's like, you know, when you look at the legacy organizations, NAACP, the Urban League, they fit their time. You know what I'm saying? And they still are relevant. Like what they do for our communities is unmatched. You know, but I think that there needs to be a movement that's more currently cultural. You know what I'm saying? Like that more fits what it is that we do. Like I don't walk around with suits all day. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people that want to follow me don't want to do that right now. They haven't evolved into that. Or this is with the culture. The culture is more hip-hop-ish. You know what I'm saying? And I don't think there's an organization that really fits what it is, but still has that same passion. You know, this has the same passion to want to be involved, because a lot of people think to be a civil rights leader, to be an organizer, to be somebody that, you know, you have to look a certain way or sound a certain way. And it's no, you just got to have the want, the will to want to do good for your people. Like I tell all the time, I go to strip clubs, I go to clubs, and I remember DJ Self was like, yo, what you doing in the club? I'm like, I'm doing the same thing you do. What are you talking about? You know what I'm saying? But you like, I'm like, what do you mean? I mean, you like a civil right, you ain't supposed to. I'm like, I'm not a preacher.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Like,
get it twisted.
you got it twisted. It don't mean that you that you're a preacher because you want to fight for our rights and I want to see the right things happen for my people. Nah. And that's why, and that's the thing that a lot of our community thinks, so they don't want to be involved. They feel like if I'm doing anything that's remotely not on this straight path level, I can't do anything or speak towards, you know, the liberation of our people, and that's not true at all.
They're not educated. That's the thing.
Exactly. It's about evolution. Everybody evolves at their own pace. I'm not here to tell you how to evolve. I just know as long as you morally sound, you want to evolve into what you want. A lot of the dudes like us, we evolved from the streets. Our moral foundation was always strong. We didn't want to be. We wasn't trying to glorify the street. We seen it as a means to the end. We didn't. Nobody told us how to do anything else. The only form of success we seen was the drug dealing. The people doing those things in our community. That's the only way we thought we were supposed to get money. So when we seen something else and we started to realize that we was taught wrong, we changed that because our moral foundation was strong. And that's what I want people to do. People are like, oh, you want to play both sides? Nah, I come from the streets. I can relate to the people from the streets. I understand the code of the streets. I understand all of those things. And I'm going to tell you, okay, if that's what you're going to do, then deal with those consequences. But you shouldn't do that anyway. But if that's what the choices you make, then understand what comes with that. And that's what's real. See, the problem is people want, you can't cut off the people we trying to save. We trying to save the streets. How I'm going to cut them off because they street when I'm trying to save them and I came from them? Malcolm X was red before he was Malcolm. So we got to identify that. It wasn't just Martin Luther King was the only he went to church, but there was different leaders that had different walks of life, and they all had a different impact. That was a major impact on our people. So I want our people to understand that.
Have you ever been arrested as an activist?
Oh, a bunch of times. But the arrest of the activist just feels so much different.
They do, yeah.
Like when you get arrested for doing something right, it don't have no pain. It's like however long I got to sit here, I'm good with this because my soul is right, and I know I'm doing the right thing. So whatever it takes, cool. You know.
So what they do? They bring you in for a minute, then they let you out a couple hours?
Sometimes they let you out a couple hours. Sometimes they make you spend the night, whatever it is, you know, and they tell you don't come back. And then sometimes I come back, and then they warn you again. You know, but for the most part, I haven't had any real run-ins where I had to do any time in there. So.
But the education, sorry, Callie, but the education is definitely important that people need to know, like what you're doing. Because like I said that day when we walked, he was like, Doc, what the fuck is you doing? Like, I'm like, what do you mean?
Why?
So, like, why? Like,
why you not doing it?
Like, I see what you're saying when they saying like the hypocrite part about it. You know what I'm saying? So I was still like active at the time, but I'm like, yo, it ain't making sense. Yeah. And then, like I felt so good that day.
Yeah, and then that's part of your evolution.
Exactly.
Like, people want you to stay one way, and that don't make sense to me. You don't get to define who I am. You don't get to define me. If I want to wear a hat and I want to wear a suit jacket with boots on and that's what I want to do, you can't say, yo, you can't do that. You can't do that.
No,
exactly.
You don't get to tell me who I am.
Exactly.
I know the impact I'm having. I know that I'm out here saving these young kids' lives. It's these kids in my DM saying, yo, you changed my mentality. I don't even want to do this street no more. Because I realize that you could be authentic and still have an appeal, but don't have to be. You don't have to be involved and active in the streets. You don't have to do that. Because somebody sold them this dream. Somebody lied to them like they lied to me. And I don't have a problem saying it. And I don't have a problem confronting your big homie telling me he lying to you. Especially if he ain't telling you something to get you out of the position and he trying to keep you stuck there. You know, and that's what they respect.
You know, not to cut you off, but I have a question. For people who on the streets, quote unquote, how do, if the streets is not living by the code, how do you live by the street code? Like, do you still keep your word even though the street didn't keep their word? Like, what do you do in that type of situation? Like, you know, like, how do you justify yourself from there? Like, if you're on the streets, you chilling, you know what I'm saying? Something breaks down, everybody leaves you, everything, however it happens, you feel alone. You feel like everybody left you. But when it comes down to like, you know, when your back is against the wall or whatever, and you feel like, okay, now I have to tell, or I have to snitch, you know, because there's a lot of people talking about snitching and this and that, and I wanted to talk a little bit about that. Mm-hmm. When is it okay to say, okay, I'm throwing the towel in? I do want to tell on this person because this person didn't have my back, wasn't there for me when they were supposed to, along with everybody else. So do you still stay true to the game and true to the code, or do you look out for yourself? That's the question.
The bottom line is this: you're a man before you anything,
right?
And your actions and you being accountable for your own actions doesn't have anything to do with somebody else keeping it real with you.
Right.
Now, if you make a decision that you get involved in a lifestyle and you deal with that and you profit off of that and you involved in that and you get all the accolades that come with it, the consequences come eventually. That's part of the game.
Of course.
So the bottom line is to get out before the consequences come.
Right.
Now, if you don't get out before the consequences come and you get caught up and they say, okay, we got you doing this, but we're going to do this if you tell on him. So that means you don't want to deal with your own consequences, but you want to make sure that somebody else deals with theirs. Right. That's being weak. It ain't about, it don't have nothing to do with their loyalty to you or anything. You got caught for what you got caught for. They caught you for, they can't charge you with nothing that you ain't doing. Right. So the bottom line is, it's not about you having loyalty. When people talk about 6ix9ine, oh, they was doing this to 6, no, 6ix9ine was calling hits. He was putting hits out as a, yo, hit this one. They was shooting, they was doing things that he was saying to do. That was his part in the crime. Right. So the bottom line is, when they turned on you, that's part of the game. Right. So you understood that from the part of the game. When you're in the streets, you understand you got to be conscious of who you're around at all times. You got to be conscious of that. So you can't take the good that come with the bad. If you a lion, if you're not a lion and then you're in the jungle, then nigga, you're going to be prey. That's part of the game. So understand that. So if you don't want to be part of the prey, then you got to make sure you're the lion or don't be in the game. So the bottom line, he became the prey. You thought it was cool. You was calling hits. You was blood. You was running around with them. They made you look strong. You was going to city. They had to vest up to make sure that you could walk through these streets. Right. So now when you stop paying them, now the wolves is like, yo, where this money at? Like, you ain't going to just throw us off now. Oh, we not good enough for you after we done took bullets and took penitentiary chances from you. Now you become a prey. Now you like, oh, you know what? All this shit I did, I don't want to deal with those consequences, so I'm going to tell what they did. It ain't about, see, that's why I tell people, it's not about criminal, it's about integrity. It's your own integrity. If you don't have it, the bottom line is, if don't get involved. It's like, you can't go to the army, right? And you in the field and you shooting and everybody's shooting and then they catch you and you're gonna be like, oh no, I'm like, nah, that's part of engaging in war. Right. You're a prisoner of war. You gotta deal with those cards. When you in the ring in MMA and they kicking and fighting, you signed up that contract. You can't call the police when a nigga beat you to death. That's what the streets is the same contract. So you can't get involved in it if you don't want to deal with the consequences. Like you said, snitching, all of these things come with it. So the bottom line is, you can snitch, but they gonna call you a snitch, and you gotta deal with what comes.
Deal with it.
That's it. Like, we can't tell you can't. Who gonna tell you can't snitch? But you can't tell us that you not a snitch. That's what you are. You gotta take that label. Whatever comes with that label, you gotta deal with it. If you want to justify it, you can't justify it to me, because I know better. You know, so it's a difference.
All right, caller, you Mysonne?
Hello?
Caller, yes.
Yeah, how you doing, man? This the beat, right?
Yeah, it's the Beat 139. You're here with Mysonne, yeah.
Okay, no doubt. Yo, Mase, what's going on, family? How you doing?
How you doing, King?
All right, I see what you're doing, man. You're doing a positive thing. First of all, let me shout out my girl. It's like my sister, Calissa. This Big Ross. How you feeling?
Oh, what's going on, Ross? How you doing, brother?
All right. How's everything? I'm good. I had to call in and check on. I'll be watching the show, supporting. You know how that go. Yeah, I just wanted to ask my son a question pertaining to something real quick. Yeah, Mike, my fault. I was just working out. Question I wanted to ask you pertaining to this thing with this dude Troy Ave. I've been doing some research, bro. And
I'm finding out that basically that these prints was found on his clip, on the inside of this hammer. You understand what I'm saying? And I'm only speaking on things because they already documented. You know how our street niggas do. We just talk
You
about
said he
what
did
already
what? I
happened.
can't hear you. He
Because
did
it's all
what?
good. So I'm saying that if these fingerprints was found on this clip, you understand what I'm saying? Then basically nobody got to really say nothing about nothing because, you know, we all know it's a wrap. It's a closed casket. Once some clips once some fingerprints is found on the clip, that gun is that person's according to the law. You know that, right?
Yeah.
So I'm just saying, like, since I found out this research, I'm trying to figure out what's your opinion on now that other things is in the light. I had my opinions before, but I kept them to myself or whatever the case may be. I seen your opinion, and it was very interesting to me. Now that these things are coming out, how do you feel about that, bro?
What I'm gonna tell you is this. It's a lot that I could say about this, and I think I feel you. I pretty much have.
And we're going to keep it like what I just said.
But yeah,
whatever's already, you've been doing your research, so whatever's already out there, whatever's already came out in court, that's all we talking about.
Yeah, I mean, I don't, the thing is, it's a lot more it's a lot more that you can look into, you know what I'm saying, and you pay attention. Like, if somebody got caught with the gun, then why would you say what happened? You know what I'm saying? This is me personally. I'm not gonna be on every interview saying I took this and did this. Like, this is an open case and a man's fighting murder. That's just not how I move. But I had a conversation with my man, you know, my man who actually lost his brother in this, my man Shan Duke, right? And I said personally that I wasn't gonna speak on this no more, you know, until afterwards. Until after the situation, you know, I don't really, you know, I'm not going to speak on it out of respect for him, and I'm just going to move forward. But you do, I mean, everybody can do their research. At the end of the day, you're going to see what happens. You'll be able to see for yourself. And then we don't have to, you know, we don't have to go back and forth and discuss and think. You know, it's going to be everybody got a point of view, you know, so you just got to listen to everybody's point of view. He said what he said. The other people were saying what they said. You just gotta. If you know the courts and you understand the system, then you can be able to read between the lines and understand the reality of what's going on. You know, I'm not lending my voice to it no more because, you know, it's just, I know what I know.
Thanks, Cole.
That's a fact. I definitely see where you're coming from. I was real curious about your opinion, like now that these new events
those
came
wasn't
out
really
about
new
this
for
thing
me.
here. You know what I'm saying?
None of those things new for me. When I first said anything about it, I already knew.
I'm the dude when you on the island. I'm the dude in the law library. I'm the dude up north in the law library and all that. I'm one of them type of dudes. I'm not no damn lawyer, but I can help a nigga get around some shit if he fuck with me. You understand what I'm saying?
Heard you.
All right, caller, thanks for calling, man. Appreciate your call.
Thanks, Ross.
Hello, you have another caller? I'm going to take this last call. Caller, you here with Mysonne, the Beat 139?
Hello?
Yeah, you here with Mysonne.
How you doing? I'm sorry. I can't really hear, so I'm just going to drop my question. It's Abraham. I'm out here repping for Doc, you know, my dude from work or whatnot. But I do have a question for you, my son. And I on a more positive note, I just want to know, on this new journey, you know, that you're doing, have you experienced more hate than love from your old street comrades? And my other question is, what keeps you motivated to put your life on the line for other people? You know, like for our people, actually. And I'm going to hang up, I'm going to listen in, I'm going to keep on tuning in. Much love to the show, though.
All right, thank you.
I mean, it's definitely a lot more love than it is negativity. The negativity only exists in the make-believe world. You know what I'm saying? Like, the people on the internet, I don't even see them. You know what I'm saying? The real people come up to me, embrace me, and especially dudes from the street that come from where I come from, that know where we come from, and they see the transition, man. They commend it. You know, any real dude seeing somebody uplifting and moving forward and doing something better is going to always salute them. So the love definitely outweighs the hate in my regard. And as far as what motivates me is just being authentic, man. Like, just being a young boy who lost his father at 11 years old, and understanding how we grab onto anything looking for guidance, and how you can grab onto the wrong thing for guidance. A lot of people misuse that. You know, I remember when I was young, I thought you had to go to jail to be real. Like, the niggas who came home from jail was like, yeah, man, I was in the yard, You know, I had Shorty on the visit. I was getting it. I had the gators in the yard.
My weight was up.
My weight was up. My waves were spinning. The CO was crack my cell whenever I was like, they was talking about this like it was a vacation. You know, when they came home, they was weight as up. You like, oh, shit. Well, in order for me to be real, I gotta go to jail because niggas ain't gonna respect my shit if I don't go to jail. So this is what they came home with this bullshit.
Real,
they misled us, and I went there, and I didn't want to be there. I was surrounded by niggas I wouldn't even talk to in the street. So I'm like, how they trick
Dudes
me
was
into
glorified coming home.
They was, and then dudes that was glorified was making it seem like it was something. They was popping. I had the phone, you know what I'm saying? My phone, slot. I had the slot time. They bring my tray to myself.
Get 35
you know what I'm saying?
pounds
Get
every
35
month.
pounds every month. I was on the phone. I'd get my trailer. You know what I'm saying? I was popping, and you like, word. This is the story, the bullshit story. You was sitting there mesmerized, sitting around. 10 of y'all just sitting there listening to this bullshit story, and you like, yo. All right, when it's my time to go, I'm gonna hold it down. You know what I'm saying? So when I realized that and I came home, I'm like, nah, I can't be lying to these kids. And every time I see a nigga, yo, what's up, man? We's locked. Yo, I don't care about none of that. The only thing good about being locked up is that I made it out. Rest of that shit, I don't even want to talk about. We not sitting here glorified. I don't want to talk about none of that shit. Nothing. So that was my mind state, man. So that's what motivated me. It's like, I'm not gonna let these kids be misled to have any type of faith in me and utilizing you know, the glorification that you coming home from prison gives you. I wasn't gonna take it along no negative route. I'm telling you some real shit. Ain't nothing in there. You go in there, it's a bunch of bozos, niggas that's dying in there. So it's nothing in there. You know what I'm saying?
So, but before we go, what's next for Mysonne?
Yeah, I just told you we started an organization. Album should be dropping soon. Just continuing to just do what's right, man. Just standing on authentic and just rebuilding our culture, man. Just rebuilding our people. Like, these young boys have went so far from what they've defined, what manhood has been defined as is so wrong. You know what I'm saying? So my thing is to redefine what manhood. It's not, gangsta ain't who you can harm, it's who you can save.
Who can save.
That's what's, you a gangster when you can stop somebody from shooting somebody.
Yeah.
Because anybody can shoot somebody, but when you got enough respect in your hood, you like, we're not doing that. Like, nah, we bigger than that. When you can motivate people to do something better, that's gangster.
And the biggest thing about it, we hurting our own kind, man.
Exactly.
Come on, man. We hurting our own kind.
Exactly.
So come on. We ain't hurting them, we hurting us.
God's work, that's for sale?
Yes, sir. God's work hats. I got sold not for sale. I got integrity over income. I got character.
Where can they find that stuff?
Oh,
All that on my website, mysonnyg.com.
Definitely go support it, because you have some on y'all buy one right now. You know?
And one more thing also, the mentoring. How do our youth sign up for these programs? Because I always hear so much about mentoring programs, but it's always really hard to get children into these programs.
Well,
so how would they go about that?
I'm working on it now. I'm working on my organization that I'm founding called Raising Kings. I'm working on just building a place to where we do mentoring. Right now we're about to do tours where we go to different schools in different communities and just do rite of passage, teaching kids, young men about what manhood is and mentoring them and just changing the trajectory of what the culture.
And where's your main location going to be?
It's probably going to be in the Bronx. More than likely it'll be in the Bronx. So I'm working on that now.
So I definitely got to support the clothing line, man.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, you can go on this website, order whatever you want. These hoodies ain't on there yet, but they'll be on there.
Shout out the website again for they could know.
Give them all your social media links.
It's Mysonne-nyg.com. My Instagram is MysonneNYGeneral. My Twitter is @Mysonne. Those are pretty much where I'm at. You can find me.
Can you tell them what podcast show you on right now, bro?
Yeah, we at the Beat 139.
That's right.
All right. Mysonne.
Yo, stay tuned, y'all. Next up, we ain't finished. We're gonna take a little break. We got Stack Stone with the author of Blood Chronicles. So stay tuned. 2 minutes. We be right back.
The B139.
B139.
Yes.
Yeah.
You do a
Great
post
job.
interview.
Okay.
Felice.